parents sold our belongings while my kid was on a ventilator. Gave my room to my sister. You missed rent, they said like that excused it. I didn't cry. I built. And 3 months later, when I showed up to that same family barbecue driving my new car and wearing my company's logo, they went pale. I was renting a room in my parents' house. $1,000 a month. Yeah, from my own parents, during a financial crisis while raising my daughter alone and trying to get an online business off the ground. I didn't complain. I cleaned up after myself, paid rent on time, cooked meals for everyone at least once a week. I never asked for a discount. I even took care of their dogs when they went on vacation last summer. I was doing what I could to stay afloat, and honestly I thought they respected that. Things were hard. I was working late nights on my laptop after putting my daughter to bed, trying to make something happen with e-commerce. I wasn't winning yet, but I wasn't giving up either. My dream was to build a brand online, create steady income, and finally get out of survival mode. I believed it could happen. I just didn't know how quickly life would test me. Emma got sick in early September. It started with a fever, then a cough that wouldn't quit. The ER turned into an ambulance ride, and suddenly I was signing papers I didn't understand, watching doctors hook her up to machines. She was intubated the second night. I stayed at the hospital every single day. Slept in chairs, used my coat as a blanket. My body was aching, but my heart was numb. All that mattered was her breathing again on her own. I texted my mom the first night. Just said Emma was in the hospital, things were bad. No response. I tried again the next day. Still nothing. My dad didn't even pretend to care. Not a call, not a message, not even a hope she's okay. But I told myself they were busy. Maybe they didn't know what to say. Maybe they were waiting to hear good news. 12 days. That's how long we were gone. On the 13th, Emma was off the vent and recovering. Her lungs were still weak, but I was allowed to take her home. I felt something break open in my chest when I buckled her into her car seat. Like maybe this nightmare was ending. I just wanted to bring her home, feed her real food, let her sleep in her own bed with her stuffed animals around her. But when I pulled into the driveway, something felt wrong. There were 2 unfamiliar cars parked out front. The porch had new potted plants. My heart started racing. I carried Emma inside, opened the door, and saw suitcases by the stairs. Designer ones. Shoes lined up in the hallway, all heels. I pushed the door to my room open. Gone. Everything. My bed. The little dresser I got from Craigslist when I first moved in. Emma's bookshelf. Her night light shaped like a cloud. The corner where we read stories every night. All gone. In its place was a huge pink vanity with LED lights, ring lights set up in 2 corners, and a mountain of makeup and purses. A monogrammed M pillow on the new bed. That's when it hit me. My younger sister. The same one who had just gotten married, and didn't even invite me to the wedding. The same one who used to joke that I was the trial kid, and she was the upgrade. She had moved into my room. While my daughter was fighting to breathe, I found my mom in the kitchen. She was frosting cupcakes. "Oh, you're back?" she said like I had just come back from a movie. I asked her what happened to my room. She looked at me like I was the problem. "You missed rent, Lisa. We didn't know if you were coming back. Your sister needed a place. They had sold my things. My desk, the one I saved up for. The ring light I used for product photography. My camera, the most expensive thing I owned. Sold them for a few bucks because they needed to clear space." My mom shrugged like it was all just business. I carried Emma back to the car in silence. I drove to a friend's place and slept on her couch for 2 nights until I found a unit I could afford. A tiny 1-bedroom in a sketchy building with flickering lights in the hallway and water stains on the ceiling. I signed the lease without even looking at the whole place. I didn't have options. I had $213 left after I paid first month's rent and deposit. I spent $200 of it on a beat-up MacBook from Facebook Marketplace. That MacBook changed everything. The MacBook had a dent in the corner, 3 old stickers that said, "Girl Boss," and "Stay Weird," and a charger that only worked if I bent it at a weird angle and held my breath. But it turned on. That was all I needed. I remember setting it on the floor in that dusty apartment, with Emma curled up on a blanket beside me, too tired to even ask for toys. Our mattress was still wrapped in plastic because I hadn't figured out how to carry it upstairs alone. I had 1 folding chair, no table, and a single light bulb in the ceiling that buzzed when I turned it on. It was quiet. Uncomfortably quiet. But that silence made me feel something I hadn't felt in weeks. Determined. I opened the browser, wiped the screen with my sleeve, and typed, "How to start dropshipping." I'd done this before, during late nights in my parents' house after dishes and laundry and daycare runs. But back then I always had a reason to stop. Too tired. Too much noise. Someone needing something. A passive-aggressive comment from my mom in the next room. Here there was nothing. Just me, the hum of the fridge, and the sound of Emma's breathing. I signed up for a free Shopify trial. Picked a name for my store, just something random, soft and pretty sounding. Found a few clothing suppliers based in the US so I wouldn't have to deal with overseas shipping. I picked items I thought other moms would love. Soft two-piece lounge sets, cute cropped sweatshirts, leggings that looked more expensive than they were. I uploaded photos, wrote descriptions, priced them carefully. The first night I didn't sleep at all. Just worked straight through. I made $14 in profit in the first 4 days. It wasn't even enough to buy real groceries. But it was mine. I kept pushing. I joined Facebook groups where people shared tips and begged admins not to delete my posts when I linked my shop. I made a TikTok with my cracked phone camera showing off the outfits laid flat on my floor. No face, just quick edits and trending sounds. I got 5 views. Then 10. Then nothing for a while. But one day a video got picked up. I didn't even realize until my phone buzzed 17 times in 1 hour. Orders. Comments. DMs. I sat on the floor, completely frozen, trying to figure out if I'd broken something. I hadn't. The next week I had 26 orders. By the end of my first month, I had cleared $2,300 in profit. After rent, groceries, and shipping costs, I had $400 left over. That was more than I had seen in months. I bought Emma a little pink lamp shaped like a bunny. She cried when she saw it. December hit differently. Everyone was shopping. I added gift sets, ran sales, started learning how to use ads. I watched YouTube tutorials while cooking pasta on my single burner. I didn't go out. I didn't rest. I poured everything into that business because I had nothing else. That month I made $12,000. It was the kind of money that used to feel impossible. I didn't even know how to react to it. I paid off old bills. Bought actual furniture. Moved Emma into the bedroom and set up a little desk for myself in the corner of the living room. I could have posted about it. I could have told my parents. Could have sent a screenshot to my sister. But I didn't. I didn't say a word. Then January came and things didn't slow down. I brought in $10,000. Hired a virtual assistant to help with customer service. Updated my website. Got a tax ID. Registered the business in my name. I even started designing packaging with a custom logo. Something simple, clean, professional. I knew exactly what I was doing now. And it felt good. In mid-January, I went to a dealership with my tax returns and 6 pay stubs in my purse. I picked a reliable SUV, black with a moon roof. The man handing me the keys said, "Looks like someone's having a good year." I was. On the way home, I stopped at Target and bought a candle, a new coat, and a ceramic teacup that looked expensive but wasn't. That night, I set the teacup on my kitchen counter, snapped a picture with the city lights in the background, and posted it to Facebook. No caption. No tags. Just peace. 3 hours later, I saw the notifications. My mom liked the photo. Then my dad. Then my sister, who never liked anything I posted before. The next morning, I got a text. "Hey Lisa, we're having a family barbecue on Saturday. You and Emma should come." I stared at that message for a long time. I hadn't heard from them in months. Not when Emma was sick. Not when we were sleeping on the floor. But now. Now they were curious. Now they wanted to see what I'd built. The barbecue was at 3 p.m. I got there at 3:40. Not because I was trying to be fashionably late, but because I sat in the car outside their house for almost 15 minutes, debating whether I should even walk in. I hadn't been back since that day. The day I came home from the hospital with Emma, holding a bag of her medications and thinking I'd finally be able to rest, only to find that my room was no longer mine. That the bed I used to tuck her into, the bookshelf with her little picture books, the desk I bought secondhand to build a future. Gone. Given away or sold so my sister could move in and live for free as if I had never existed there at all. But today was different. I wasn't showing up with hope or expectations. I was showing up with peace. And receipts. I opened the door for Emma and she climbed out of the car, giggling in her new sneakers. I bought them last week. Full price. She didn't know what that meant, but I did. I bought them without checking my account 3 times first. We walked up together carrying a box of cupcakes I'd picked up from a bakery downtown. The kind with gold foil on the edges and real vanilla frosting. I didn't bake them. I didn't pretend to. That felt good too. The moment we stepped onto the lawn, heads turned. My mom spotted us first. Her eyes went from my hoodie, with my company logo stitched in white, to the car parked behind us. The SUV caught the light just right. She smiled too quickly and came over with a weirdly cheerful tone, like the last few months had been a minor miscommunication. "Lisa, there you are." There I was. My dad waved from the grill, already turning back to the burgers like he'd just seen me yesterday. My sister stood near the folding table with the potato salad, wearing a pair of earrings I hadn't seen since last year. They looked exactly like mine. She didn't say anything. We found a spot under the tree and set down the cupcakes. Emma ran off to play with the other kids and I poured myself some lemonade. No one said the words. Not sorry. Not how's Emma. Not what happened. Instead they asked how the traffic was. I didn't bite. I smiled, nodded, kept my voice steady. My mom complimented my shoes. My dad asked what year the car was. I could feel the curiosity rising like steam, quiet but sharp. Then my aunt showed up. She hadn't seen me since long before the hospital. She gave me a long hug and stepped back, studying me. You're glowing, Lisa. What are you doing these days? Before I could answer, my mom chimed in. Oh, just a little online thing she's trying out. A little online thing. Like the business that kept me fed. Like the work that gave Emma a safe place to sleep. Like the thing that I built with no support, no help, no room, and almost no money. I didn't correct her. I just waited. But then someone asked directly. Wait, are you the one who posted that photo last month? The kitchen view with the tea? That was your place. I nodded. Just smiled. And the table went quiet for a second. That's when it shifted. My mom leaned in like she suddenly remembered she'd given birth to me. My dad asked if I could help him with some website thing he was trying to figure out. My sister, she didn't speak at all. Just looked at me like she didn't understand what she was looking at. They were trying to pull me back in. Not because they missed me. Not because they regretted what they did. But because now I looked like someone who could be useful. They weren't proud. They were interested. They thought I'd come back smaller. Maybe with a sad little story about how hard things were. They didn't expect me to show up wearing confidence. They didn't expect the car. They didn't expect Emma to look healthy and happy. They didn't expect me to have done something they hadn't even bothered asking about. As we were getting ready to leave, my mom put her hand on my arm and said I should come by next week, help her figure out some things with her phone. Something about Marketplace and messages not loading. I just nodded. I wasn't going to fight. I didn't need them to understand. I helped Emma buckle in, turned the music low, and backed out of the driveway slowly. We stopped for ice cream on the way home. Emma got sprinkles. I got nothing, just coffee. But it was from the nice place, the one where they know my name now. And as we sat there on that bench, I looked at her and thought, they tried to cut us out like we were the extra part of the story. But we weren't. We were the beginning of a new one. The week after the barbecue, I didn't stop by. I didn't reply to the text my mom sent the next day either. Something vague about her Facebook Marketplace acting weird and needing someone techie to look at it. Then she added, let's do coffee soon. Just us girls. I stared at that line for a while. It sounded sweet if you didn't know the history. If you didn't remember that just a few months ago I came home from the hospital with my child and found my life boxed up, sold off, and handed to someone else like it meant nothing. I left her on read. Not out of pettiness, but because I was busy building the life they assumed I could never have without them. Monday to Friday I was running at full speed. Emma had settled into school and I'd upgraded my workspace. A small rented office near downtown with floor-to-ceiling windows and a lock on the door. That door meant more to me than anything. No one could take this from me. Not this time. On Thursday I got a missed call from a number I didn't recognize. I ignored it. Then another. Then a voicemail. It was my mom. He sounded too chipper. Like she was trying not to let something show. She said she was just checking in, and wanted to know if I'd be home that weekend. Then my cousin texted me, someone I hadn't spoken to in almost a year. Hey, just a heads up. Your mom's been asking around. Something about money problems. I think they're losing the house. I blinked at the message. That didn't make sense. My parents were always bragging about being debt-free, mortgage paid off years ago, and how only fools rent. That was their favorite line, right before they asked for $1,000 rent from me every month. I didn't want to believe it, but my gut told me to look. So I did. Quietly. Carefully. Turns out they had paid off the house. But 3 years ago they took out a second mortgage. And then a helic after that. The wedding, the home renovations, the quick loan to help my sister and her husband start their podcast studio. All of it stacked. And then the husband left. Packed a bag and walked out. No job. No savings. No prenup. Now my sister had moved back in full-time and the credit card companies were circling. That barbecue? It wasn't just a family get-together. It was a test. A performance. They were trying to see how well I was really doing, and how far they could push the situation without directly asking. But 2 days later they did ask. I answered the call this time. My mom jumped straight into it. A lot of talking. Soft voice. Familiar rhythm. She said they'd hit a rough patch. That the economy was unpredictable. That the bank had changed some terms unexpectedly. Then came the kicker. We were just thinking, maybe we could stay with you for a little while. Just until things level out. You have that extra room, don't you? That room? The one Emma uses for painting, reading, and sleeping next to her bunny lamp? The room I cried in alone when she was asleep and I had $13 left in my bank account? I told my mom I'd call her back. I didn't. Instead, I posted something short on Facebook that night. No photos. No hashtags. Sometimes the people who buried you come back asking for shade. Don't forget who held the shovel. It wasn't dramatic. Just honest. I didn't tag anyone. Didn't need to. But by the next day, it had been shared over 200 times. A local women's entrepreneur group reposted it. Someone I went to high school with messaged me to say it hit a little too real. And then something wild happened. A boutique owner in Austin emailed me. She said she'd seen the post, clicked through to my store and loved the brand. Said it felt real. Said she saw a story in it. She wanted to test a run of my lounge sets in her shop. She ordered 120 units. I sat at my desk staring at the screen. For a long time. That single order was bigger than my entire first month's income. While my family was pretending not to be drowning, I was getting my first wholesale deal, because of the very story they tried to erase. My sister blocked me that night. I know, because her profile photo disappeared from Messenger, and suddenly, all those old shared albums were gone. I didn't care. I was building something they couldn't access. And now, I finally understood the most unexpected truth of all. They didn't just underestimate me. They needed me to stay small. Because once I outgrew them, they had nothing left to control. It was a Tuesday morning when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Emma was at school and I was halfway through printing shipping labels when I opened the door and froze. It was my dad. He looked like he hadn't slept. He didn't smile. Just stood there, arms at his sides, like he wasn't sure if he'd made the right choice in showing up. I didn't invite him in. He didn't ask. He glanced behind me into the apartment. The plants by the window, the framed print of my company logo on the wall, the calm, clean space I'd built. His eyes lingered there for a second before settling on the floor. I just thought I'd talk to you. Won't take long. So I stepped outside, closing the door behind me. We stood in the hallway. He started slowly. Said things had gotten complicated. That they were in a rough spot. He talked about inflation, about bills piling up, how they never expected the situation to snowball like this. How my sister was going through a lot since her husband left. That she was emotionally drained, and not in a position to support herself yet. And then, like he'd been rehearsing it for days, he finally said what he came for. We were hoping maybe you could help us out. Just for a while. I looked at him. He couldn't meet my eyes. Maybe some space. Or even just alone. Temporary, of course. You know, family helping family. I asked him how long temporary meant. He shrugged. As long as it takes, I guess. As long as it takes. Like I didn't have a life. Like I just hit pause on everything I'd built because they were finally ready to remember I existed. I told him I'd think about it, but I already knew the answer. 2 days later I drove to the house. Not out of guilt, not to negotiate, I just needed to see it with my own eyes. The place I used to pay rent in. The room that was stripped and handed to someone else like I was just passing through. The lawn hadn't been cut. There were boxes by the front window stacked crooked like someone had tried to start packing and then given up halfway. The porch light was broken. The front door had a scratch that wasn't there before. My mom opened the door. She was polite. Stiff. She said she was surprised I came. That they weren't expecting visitors. I wasn't a visitor. I used to live there. Inside, the place looked smaller. Older. More fragile. Like all the years of pretending had finally caught up with them. I saw my old blender on the kitchen counter. A stack of books that used to be in Emma's room shoved into a plastic bin. My floor lamp, the one I bought with my first freelance check, sat in the corner by the TV. They hadn't even tried to hide it. I sat down across from my sister, who was scrolling on her phone, half curled into a blanket. She looked up once, barely nodded, and went back to whatever video she was watching. We sat in silence until my mom started talking. She was careful with her words, too careful. She said she didn't want to burden me. That they just needed help until things leveled out. She said she was proud of me, that she always knew I was smart. Then she said this could be a fresh start. For all of us. And I realized something. They didn't think they'd done anything wrong. They weren't sorry for what happened. They were just sorry it didn't work out in their favor. I stood up. I told them I wasn't giving them money. I told them I wasn't offering a place to stay. I told them I hoped they figured things out truly, but I wasn't going to unbuild the life I fought for just because they finally noticed it existed. My mom's mouth twisted. So you're really just gonna watch your family go under? After everything? After everything? After selling my things? After giving my daughter's bed to someone else? After pretending we didn't matter for 12 days in a hospital? Yes. That's exactly what I was going to do. I walked to the door. No one followed. I didn't cry in the car. I didn't feel heavy. I didn't feel guilt. I felt clean. When I got home, I lit a candle, brewed some tea, and got back to work. Emma came home later that day and showed me a drawing she made. It was of our apartment, the bunny lamp, the teacup by the window. She'd drawn herself smiling. I put it on the fridge. There was no more room in our home for ghosts. Weeks passed. There were no more messages. No calls. No unexpected visits. My parents disappeared like they were never part of the story. Not out of shame, I don't think they're capable of that. But because silence has always been their favorite weapon. They didn't get what they wanted, so they pulled the one card they had left. Pretending I didn't exist. I didn't retaliate. I didn't explain myself to extended family. I didn't play the here's what really happened game. I didn't need to. I had peace now. And I had Emma. Our routine was simple but solid. Morning walks to school. Orders to pack. Emails to answer. New suppliers to vet. I launched 2 new sets for spring. The first sold out in 2 days. I hired a second assistant. I got invited to a local event for women founders and was asked to speak. Just 10 minutes. But when I stood on that stage and talked about starting over with a $200 MacBook and nothing to lose, people listened. Afterwards, someone asked me how I did it. I had help. Family. Connections. I said no. Just clarity. The clarity that no one was coming to save me, and that maybe that was the best thing that could have happened. One night in March, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was a photo. The outside of a motel. 2 doors down from the vending machine. A familiar suitcase propped open on the curb. No caption. No name. But I recognized the suitcase. It was my sister's. The pink one from the day I came home from the hospital and found her in my room. I stared at the photo for a while, then deleted it. Maybe it was meant to guilt me. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was sent by accident, or maybe someone hoped I'd rush in and offer something. But I didn't. I didn't even flinch. Because I'd already tried to play that role. The helper. The fixer. The daughter who pays and gives and fills the spaces left by everyone else. Not anymore. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. That's what surprised me the most. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted distance. And I had it now. One morning, Emma came into the kitchen while I was pouring coffee and said out of nowhere, "I like our life now." I smiled. Me too. She didn't say anything about the house or her grandparents. She didn't ask why we hadn't gone back. I don't think she remembered it clearly anymore. That chapter was closed for both of us, and it wasn't worth reopening just to check if anything had changed. Because I already knew it hadn't. They're still out there somewhere, probably playing the offended card, spinning their version of the story to anyone who'll listen. But I don't play that game anymore. I took what was good, the strength, the silence, the fire, and left the rest behind. I don't owe them a reunion. I don't owe them an apology for surviving. And if they're still waiting for me to come back with open arms and a checkbook, they're going to be waiting a long time. Because I didn't just rebuild. I redefined. And this version of me? She doesn't go backwards.